Stay with me, come on. Stay with me.
Andre Hill's palms slam against
Stay
a woman's
with me.
chest. Again.
Bro, we have
Again.
stayed up on this wall now.
Her
Stay
body
with me.
jerks, but her eyes stay shut. Rain hammers the sidewalk. An emerald brooch at her throat, worth more than Andre will make in 5 years. And he's the only thing between her
Come on, stay
and a
with me.
body bag. A man in a dark suit grabs Andre's shoulder.
Get your hands off her. She's got no pulse. Call 911 or get out of my way.
6 minutes of CPR, alone, in the rain. The paramedic told him, another minute and she'd be gone.
She's being pulsed. She's got
The next day, her father made a phone call. Not to the hospital, not to the police, to Andre. And what he offered, something Andre had been chasing his whole life. He just never believed anyone was paying attention. But before we get to that phone call, you need to know who Andre Hill was before this night. Because this story doesn't start in the rain. It starts at 5:15 in the morning. In a one-bedroom apartment with peeling wallpaper and a kitchen table with one wobbly leg, shimmed with a folded piece of cardboard. Andre Hill, 34 years old, broad shoulders, kind eyes, the kind of tired that lives behind a smile. He sleeps on the pull-out couch, not because he wants to, because the bedroom belongs to his mother. Denise Hill, 62, retired nurse, early stage COPD. There's an oxygen tank beside her chair that she swears she doesn't need during the day. But Andre sees how she breathes at night. He hears it through the thin wall, that slow, rattling inhale that keeps him up even when his body is begging for sleep. Every morning, Andre is up before the sun. Shoes tied in the dark, phone in hand. The Ride Line app's surge pricing kicks in at 5:45, and every extra dollar matters. His son Elijah, 6 years old, lives with Andre's ex 3 towns over. Andre drives 40 minutes each way on his days to pick him up. He has never missed a single one. Not when gas was $6 a gallon, not when his check engine light had been blinking for 3 weeks straight. Not once. On the fridge, there's a crayon drawing held up by a magnet. A stick figure labeled Daddy standing under a big yellow sun. Andre sees it every morning when he grabs his keys. He never says anything about it. He just looks at it and walks out the door. Here's what you need to understand about Andre. He's not just a driver, he's a cook, a brilliant one. His mother taught him. Jerk chicken, collard greens, cornbread that makes you close your eyes on the first bite. He runs a small side hustle, Hill's Home Kitchen, selling plates out of his apartment on weekends. He photographs every dish like it's art. He's got 211 followers on social media. Not thousands, not hundreds of thousands. 211. But those 211 people, they come back every single week. His dream is a food truck. He's been saving for months. There's a mason jar on the kitchen counter labeled Truck Fund in Elijah's handwriting. Inside, $2,400. He needs $8,000. Every night after driving, Andre stares at that jar. Does the math, counts the months, tells himself the same thing every morning while tying his shoes in the dark. Today might be the day. He doesn't know what that means exactly. He just believes it. Andre's car is a 2011 Honda Civic. 190,000 miles. The check engine light has been on for 3 weeks. He keeps a Pine air freshener and a pack of mints in the console because he read online that rider ratings go up if your car smells clean. That tells you everything about this man. He can't afford to fix the engine, but he'll make sure you're comfortable in the passenger seat. He opens doors for elderly passengers. He keeps a phone charger in the back seat for riders who need it. He plays soft jazz when he senses someone's had a rough day. One night, a drunk college kid threw up in his back seat. Andre cleaned it himself at 2 a.m. in a gas station parking lot, then drove another 4 hours. He never complained, not once. This particular afternoon, an older white woman gets into his car. She's heading to a medical appointment, nervous, fidgeting with her purse strap. Andre talks to her gently, asks about her grandkids. She starts to relax. By the time he pulls up to the clinic, she's smiling. She pats his arm before stepping out. "You're a good man." Andre watches her walk inside. He sits in the car for a moment, doesn't say anything, just breathes. Then he checks his phone. His bank app shows $38.14. Rent is due in 4 days, $1,100. He closes the app, pulls back onto the road. That evening, Andre is home cooking dinner for Denise. Rice and beans, roasted vegetables, simple. But he seasons it with the same care he'd give a 5-star plate. That's just how he's built. Denise is in her chair, the oxygen tube resting on her lap. She watches him move around the kitchen, the way his hands work without thinking, the way he tastes and adjusts. "How's the truck fund coming?" she asks. Andre doesn't look up. "Getting there, Ma?" She gives him that look, the one only mothers have, the one that says, "I know you're tired. I know you won't say it, but I see you." "Your father would be proud of you," she says quietly. Andre pauses, just for a second. His father passed when Andre was 19. Construction accident, no settlement, no insurance, just gone. Andre was 2 semesters from finishing a culinary program. He dropped out the same week to support the family. He never went back. On the wall behind Denise, there's a framed certificate, CPR certification. Andre earned it at 22 during a community first responder course. The paper is yellowed. He hasn't thought about it in years. "Thanks, Ma," he says, and plates her food. That certificate on the wall? Andre hadn't looked at it in over a decade, but in about 3 hours it was going to be the most important piece of paper in his entire life. Now here's where everything shifts. It's 9:30 p.m. Andre has been driving for 14 hours. His back aches. His eyes are heavy. His neck is stiff from checking mirrors all day. He promised Denise he'd be home by 10. He's about to log off the app, thumb hovering over the screen. Done for the night. Then his phone buzzes. One more ride request. $18.50. A 22-minute fare downtown. He stares at the screen. Thinks about the truck fund jar. Thinks about the $8,000. Thinks about Elijah. He accepts. The rain has been picking up all evening. What started as a drizzle is now a steady downpour. Windshield wipers slapping back and forth, headlights smeared across wet asphalt. The streets are emptying out, everyone heading indoors, heading home. Everyone except Andre. He picks up a young man in a business suit, quiet, distracted, tapping on his phone the entire ride. Andre tries a little small talk. The man barely looks up. Andre lets it go. Some people just want silence. That's fine. He drops the man off downtown. A quiet stretch of Walnut Street. Upscale storefronts. A wine bar with warm, golden light spilling through the windows onto the wet sidewalk. The ride ends. Andre pulls to the curb to mark the trip complete on his app. And that's when he notices something across the street. A black Escalade. Tinted windows. Engine idling. Just sitting there. Andre doesn't think anything of it. Why would he? He's about to pull away when something catches his eye in the rearview mirror. A woman steps out of the wine bar, late 20s, blonde hair pinned up, cream-colored silk blouse, dark slacks, and at her collar, an emerald brooch that catches the streetlight and flashes green for just a second. She takes 1 step, then 2, then 3. Her hand goes to her chest, her knees buckle. She reaches for the wall and misses. She hits the sidewalk hard. Her clutch purse scatters. Her phone cracks against the concrete. Her body crumples on the wet ground like someone just cut her strings. She doesn't move. Andre sees it happen in real time. His brain processes it in fragments. Woman, falling, ground, not moving. 2 people on the opposite sidewalk glance over. They keep walking. A man coming out of the wine bar behind her stops, looks at her on the ground, looks at his phone, starts dialing, slowly, like he's not sure if this is his problem. Nobody is helping. Nobody is moving toward her. She is lying on wet concrete in the rain, and the world is just watching. But what about Andre? Andre is exhausted. He's across the street. The rain is hammering down. He could just drive away. Nobody would know. Nobody would blame him. He doesn't know this woman. She doesn't know him. And here's the part that Andre won't say out loud but is thinking in the back of his mind. Because every black man in America has thought it at least once. A black man. Kneeling over an unconscious white woman. On a dark street. At night. That could go wrong for him. Fast. He knows that. He's lived that. He's seen what happens when the wrong person makes the wrong assumption at the wrong time. Every instinct says, stay in the car. Let someone else handle it. Protect yourself. But Andre Hill doesn't think about himself in that moment. He's out of the car before the thought even finishes. Door open, running, shoes slapping wet pavement. He drops to his knees beside her. The rain is soaking through his polo. The streetlight above casts an amber glow over both of them. He tilts her head back, checks her airway. Nothing. He presses 2 fingers to her neck. Pulse, faint, irregular, fading. Her lips are turning blue. Her skin is cold and clammy. The smell of expensive perfume mixes with rain and wet concrete. Andre's breath is loud in his own ears. The distant sound of a siren, but it's heading the other direction. It's not coming for her. The man from the wine bar is on the phone now. Yeah, someone collapsed outside. But he's standing 10 feet back, arms crossed, not helping. A woman across the street has stopped to watch. She hasn't crossed. Andre is alone with her. And in that moment he knows. This woman is in cardiac arrest. She needs CPR. Not in 5 minutes when an ambulance arrives. Not in 3 minutes. Now. A flash in his mind. The yellowed certificate on his mother's wall. The instructor's voice from 12 years ago. You have 4 minutes. After 4, brain damage begins. You are the difference between life and death. He looks down at this stranger. This woman whose name he doesn't know. Whose world is nothing like his. Whose life right now depends entirely on whether a tired rideshare driver remembers what he learned in a free weekend class over a decade ago. And then, from behind him, a car door opens. Heavy footsteps. Fast. A large man in a dark suit appears. He's not panicking like a normal bystander. His eyes scan the perimeter first. He speaks into his wrist. She's down. Bystander is intervening. Hold position. Andre barely registers him. He's already counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Andre didn't know who that man in the suit was. He didn't know about the Escalade. He didn't know about the phone call already being made behind his back. All he knew was this. Push. Breathe. Push. Breathe. And don't stop. For the next 6 minutes, Andre Hill held a stranger's life in his hands. And everything depended on whether he could keep going. He locks his hands together, center chest, pushes, hard. 30 compressions. Tilts her head back, pinches her nose. 2 rescue breaths. Again. His arms burn after the first minute. A deep, screaming fire from shoulders to wrists. Rain runs into his eyes. His knees grind against wet concrete. Skin tearing through his jeans. He doesn't stop. The wet thud of his palms against her sternum. The whistle of his breath into her lungs. Her body, limp, heavy, unresponsive. Tell them cardiac arrest, he shouts at the man on the phone. Tell them she's not breathing. The man in the dark suit is crouched nearby, not interfering, but watching. He pulls out his phone. Andre catches only fragments. It's her, sir. Someone's helping. I'll stay on it. 3 minutes in, no response. Andre's arms are shaking. Her face is gray, lips turning purple. For one terrible moment, he thinks, she's gone. His rhythm stutters. His hands pause for half a second. Elijah's face flashes in his mind. The crayon drawing on the fridge. Then Denise in her chair. The oxygen tank. What if it was his mother on this sidewalk? What if some stranger decided it wasn't worth the effort? He pushes harder. Come on! His voice cracks. Come on, stay with me! You gotta stay with me! Minute 4. Minute 5. No ambulance. His body is failing. 14 hours of driving, no food since a gas station sandwich 6 hours ago. He's still going. A small crowd has gathered. 6, maybe 8 people. Phones out, recording. Not one of them steps forward. Andre doesn't notice, just the count. 28, 29, 30. Breathe, breathe. Minute 6. She coughs, a wet, ragged gasp that tears through the silence. Her chest heaves, her eyes fly open, unfocused, wild. She coughs again, pulls in a breath so deep it sounds like someone surfacing from underwater. She's breathing. She's alive. Andre's arms give out. He sits back on his heels, hands trembling against his thighs, vision blurred, not from rain. Caroline Whitfield, though Andre doesn't know her name, looks up at him, glassy eyes, confused, terrified. What happened? You collapsed. You stopped breathing. But you're okay now. Help is coming. Sirens, red and blue lights. Paramedics rush over. Andre steps back immediately, making himself smaller. This is not his world. Officer Trent Bellows steps out of a cruiser. His eyes land on Andre, rain-soaked, bloodied knuckles, kneeling near the woman. For one beat, there's a look. Andre knows that look. But the man in the dark suit steps forward, says something to Bellows. The officer nods. The look disappears. A paramedic glances up at Andre. You did CPR? How long? About 6 minutes. The paramedic shakes his head. You saved your life, man. Another minute and we'd be having a very different conversation. The paramedics loaded Caroline onto the stretcher. The ambulance pulled away. The rain kept falling. And Andre Hill stood on that sidewalk, alone, soaking wet, shaking. He thought that was the end of it, but the man in the dark suit was still by the Escalade, phone to his ear. And the call he'd already made? That call was about to set everything in motion. Andre went home that night thinking the story was over. He was wrong. 3 things had already been set in motion, and he didn't know about any of them. The street is quiet now. The ambulance is gone. The police cruiser has pulled away. The crowd has scattered. The rain has softened to a thin mist that hangs in the air like a curtain. Andre is still standing on the sidewalk. His hands are shaking, not from the cold, from the adrenaline finally leaving his body. That rush that kept him going for 6 minutes is gone now. And what's left behind is a bone-deep exhaustion that makes his legs feel like concrete. He looks down at his hands. His knuckles are scraped raw, skin torn from pressing against wet pavement over and over. He hadn't noticed until now, didn't feel it. Too busy keeping someone alive to feel his own body breaking down. He flexes his fingers. They barely respond. Then he notices something on the ground. A few feet from where Caroline fell. Her clutch purse. It must have been kicked aside during the chaos. Nobody picked it up. Nobody thought to. Andre picks it up, opens it. Not to snoop, just to see if there's an ID so he can return it. Inside, a phone with a cracked screen, a black American Express card, a lip balm, and a business card. Crisp, heavy cardstock, embossed gold lettering. Whitfield Capital Group. Beneath it, Garrison Whitfield, chairman, and a phone number. Andre stares at it. The name means nothing to him, not yet. He tucks the purse under his arm. He'll figure out how to return it tomorrow. A paramedic from the second crew, the one that arrived late as backup, walks over to Andre before leaving. Hey man, you want us to check you out? Your hands are pretty banged up. Andre looks down at his knuckles, raw, swollen, a thin line of blood running down his index finger. I'm fine, he says, just tired. The paramedic gives him a look, the kind that says, I know you're not fine, but I'm not going to push it. He nods and walks back to the rig. Officer Bellows approaches next. His tone is different now, warmer. Whatever the man in the suit told him earlier clearly shifted something. That was impressive work out there. You trained? CPR class, long time ago. Well, you should know. Without you, that woman doesn't make it tonight. You need a ride somewhere? No, sir, I'm parked right there. Bellows nods, takes Andre's name and number for the police report, shakes his hand, walks away. Then, the man in the dark suit. He steps out of the shadows near the Escalade, calm, professional. His shoes are polished. His posture is military straight. He extends his hand. Andre shakes it. The grip is firm, deliberate. This is not a casual handshake. This is a man who is memorizing Andre's face. I want to thank you for what you did tonight, on behalf of the family. Andre blinks. The family? The woman you helped. Her family is going to want to reach out. Can I get your full name? Andre hesitates. Something about this feels bigger than a random stranger saying thanks. The suit, the Escalade, the way this man carries himself, like someone who answers to power. Andre Hill. The man nods once, doesn't smile, doesn't explain. He turns and walks back to the black Escalade, gets in. The SUV pulls away without a sound. Andre watches it disappear into the mist. He has no idea what just happened. The drive home is quiet. The Civic's heater rattles and wheezes. Andre grips the steering wheel with torn-up hands and replays the scene in his head. The woman's face when she opened her eyes. That raw, unfiltered confusion. The way she whispered, "What happened?" Like she wasn't sure she was still alive. The sound of her first breath after 6 minutes of silence. He can still feel the rhythm in his palms. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's stuck in his body now, like a heartbeat that isn't his. He pulls up to his apartment, walks inside quietly. Denise is asleep. He sets Caroline's clutch purse on the kitchen counter, peels off his soaked polo, runs his scraped knuckles under the kitchen tap and winces as the water hits raw skin. He dries his hands, looks at the truck fund jar, looks at the business card he slipped out of the purse. Whitfield Capital Group. He pulls out his phone, types the name into Google. His eyes widen as the results load. Skyscrapers, galas, a Forbes profile, a net worth with a B at the end. He stares at the screen for a long time. Then he closes the browser, shakes his head. Not my world, he mutters. He lies down on the pull-out couch, stares at the ceiling. He doesn't feel like a hero. He feels like a man who did what anyone should have done, and got nothing for it except torn-up hands and a soaking wet uniform. Sleep comes fast, the deep, heavy kind. The sleep of someone who emptied himself completely for a stranger and has nothing left. Andre didn't check his phone before he fell asleep. If he had, he would have seen something strange. 3 miles away in a private suite at Jefferson Hospital, a young woman named Caroline Whitfield had just opened her eyes and whispered his name to her father. By 6 a.m. the next morning, 3 powerful people were looking for Andre Hill. He was still asleep on his couch. Jefferson Hospital, private wing, the kind of floor where the hallways are wider, the lights are softer, and the flowers arrive before the patient wakes up. Caroline Whitfield is in bed, pale, exhausted, but alive. Her blonde hair is loose against the pillow. An IV drips into her left arm. A heart monitor beeps in a steady, quiet rhythm, the sound of a second chance. Her father sits beside her, Garrison Whitfield, 61, silver hair, steel blue eyes. The kind of man who wears a pressed suit at 5 a.m. because he doesn't own anything else. His posture is perfect, his expression is controlled, but his hands, resting on the arm of the chair, are gripping the leather so tightly his knuckles are white. He almost lost her. 12 hours ago, his daughter's heart stopped on a sidewalk in the rain, and he wasn't there. Sylvia Whitfield, Garrison's wife, Caroline's stepmother, stands by the window, arms crossed, watching the city wake up below. The room is quiet, the kind of quiet that only exists after someone almost dies. Caroline's voice is hoarse, barely above a whisper. There was a man, a ride-share driver. He was just there. Garrison leans forward. Do you remember his name? I think Andre. He told the paramedics. I heard it before they put me in the ambulance. What else do you remember? Caroline closes her eyes. His voice. He kept saying, "Stay with me," over and over. "That's the only reason I came back, Dad, because someone was telling me to stay." Garrison doesn't respond right away. He stands, buttons his jacket, steps into the hallway. He pulls out his phone and dials one number. Nolan Price, his personal attorney. The call lasts 9 seconds. Find him. 6:30 a.m., Andre's apartment. He wakes up stiff, sore. His shoulders feel like they've been hammered. His knuckles throb. For a second, he doesn't remember why, and then it all floods back. The rain, the woman, the compressions, the cough. He swings his legs off the pull-out couch, makes coffee for Denise, packs a lunch, leftover rice from last night, a bruised apple. Checks the Ride Line app. Surge pricing is low, going to be a slow day. Denise shuffles into the kitchen. She spots the clutch purse on the counter. "What's that?" Andre pours her coffee. "Some woman fainted downtown last night. I helped out." Denise picks up the purse, turns it over, feels the leather. She raises an eyebrow. "This isn't a fainting purse, Andre. This is a $2,000 purse." "She's fine, Ma. I'll return it today." Denise gives him that look again, the one that sees everything. "You did CPR, didn't you?" Andre shrugs, sips his coffee. "Andre! She's fine." Denise shakes her head slowly, sets the purse down, says nothing else. But her eyes stay on her son as he grabs his keys and walks to the door. Andre steps outside, morning sun cutting through the last of yesterday's clouds. He walks toward his Civic and stops. Across the street, a black Escalade, same tinted windows, same model. Engine off this time, but there's a figure sitting in the driver's seat, still, watching. Andre stares at it. His stomach tightens. That's the same car from last night. He's sure of it. The Escalade's engine starts. It pulls away from the curb slowly, no hurry, turns the corner, disappears. Andre stands there for a long moment. Rain-cleaned street, birds singing somewhere, and a feeling in his gut that something is happening around him that he can't see yet. He shakes it off, gets in the Civic, starts his day. But here's what Andre doesn't know. While he's driving his morning fares, a college student to campus, an old man to a pharmacy, Nolan Price has already pulled the police report. He has Andre's full name, his address, his Ride Line driver profile, his social media, including the Hills home kitchen page with 211 followers. Nolan compiles everything into a dossier, sends it to Garrison by 9 a.m. Garrison reads it, all of it. Every photo of every plate Andre has ever posted. Every 5-star rider review. Every comment from a customer saying his jerk chicken changed their whole week. He reads one review twice. Just one. "This driver went out of his way to help me carry my groceries to my door. Kindest person I've met in this city." Garrison sets down his phone, looks out the window of his daughter's hospital room, and makes a decision. At 11:42 a.m., Andre's phone rings. The number is blocked, and the voice on the other end says 5 words that stop him cold. "Mr. Hill, my name is Garrison Whitfield." Andre is in his Civic, parked outside a Wawa, $3 hoagie in one hand, phone in the other. He puts the hoagie down. "I believe you saved my daughter's life last night." His hand tightens on the steering wheel. The business card, the Forbes profile, the net worth with a B at the end. This is that man, calling him, in a Wawa parking lot. Garrison's voice is calm, measured, but underneath, the crack of a father who watched his daughter breathe at 3 a.m. and thanked God for every inhale. "I just did what I could, sir. Anybody would have—" "No, the paramedics told me her pulse was back before they arrived. That was you, Mr. Hill. Only you." Silence. "My daughter remembers your voice. She said you told her to stay. She said that's why she came back." Andre's throat tightens. He presses his torn-up knuckles against his jeans. "I'd like to meet you, in person. Tomorrow morning, there's something I'd like to discuss. An address. Andre writes it on a napkin. Rittenhouse Square. He's dropped off passengers there hundreds of times. He's never been invited. That night, Andre goes deep. Laptop open at the wobbly kitchen table. Whitfield Capital Group. Largest private real estate firms on the East Coast. 14 states. Shopping centers. Hotel chains. Residential towers. Net worth, $2.1 billion. Caroline Whitfield. Not just an heiress, she runs the Whitfield Foundation. Community development, workforce training, small business grants. She was at that wine bar for a charity board dinner when an undiagnosed cardiac arrhythmia stopped her heart. She wasn't partying, she was working. For people like Andre. A business profile calls Garrison the man who repays everything tenfold. A contractor once saved him from a zoning disaster. Garrison gave him a $2 million contract the next year. A janitor returned a lost briefcase with $200,000 in contracts. Garrison paid for his daughter's entire college education. Andre closes the laptop, looks at the truck fund jar. He's not scheming, he's scared. He doesn't belong in that world. He tells Denise about the meeting. She takes his white button-down off the hanger, irons every wrinkle, tries to scrub the stain on the cuff one more time. It doesn't come out. "Wear it anyway," she says. "Nobody's looking at your cuff, baby. They're looking at your heart." Next morning, Rittenhouse Square. The neighborhood shift is instant. Cracked sidewalks become cobblestone. Corner bodegas become boutique patisseries. Andre parks his Civic between a Tesla and a Range Rover. A limestone townhouse, brass plaque, Whitfield Capital Group, Philadelphia office. The doorman opens the door before Andre reaches it. "Mr. Hill, they're expecting you." Inside, marble floors, fresh flowers, sparkling water he's never been offered in a lobby before. He sits. His eyes find the photographs on the wall. Garrison with a governor, Caroline cutting a ribbon, a family portrait. And in the portrait, standing to the side, dark suit, military posture, a face Andre recognizes instantly. The man from the sidewalk, small brass nameplate, head of family security. Not a cop, not a bystander, Caroline's personal bodyguard. He watched everything, reported every detail. Andre was never anonymous. From the moment he knelt in that rain, someone was watching. The conference room door opens. Garrison walks out himself, crosses the lobby, extends his hand. "Andre, thank you for coming." Red-rimmed eyes, the only sign this polished man nearly buried his daughter 2 nights ago. Andre follows him through the door. What happened in the next 30 minutes would make every 14-hour shift, every late rent check, every $5 tip worth it. Not because Andre expected it, but because Garrison had read every single one of those food photos and saw something in Andre that Andre hadn't seen in himself. What Garrison offered Andre wasn't charity. It was something Andre had been building toward his entire life. He just didn't know anyone was watching. Sunlit conference room, long walnut table, and spread across it, printed screenshots of every Hill's home kitchen post, every plate, every caption, every customer comment. Andre stares at his own food laid out on a billionaire's table like a business proposal. "I had my team look into you," Garrison says. "When someone saves your daughter's life, you want to know who they actually are." He taps the printouts. "You're a cook." "I make plates on weekends. It's just a side thing." "Your jerk chicken has a 6-month wait list." Andre blinks. "How did you—" "My team called the number on your page. Next available order, March." Garrison leans back. "A 6-month wait list out of a 1-bedroom apartment with a 2-burner stove. That's not a side thing, Andre. That's a business that doesn't know it's a business yet." Andre doesn't respond. Nobody has ever talked about his cooking like this. Like it matters. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. Whitfield Capital Group has been building community food halls. Not the trendy, overpriced kind. Real food halls in real neighborhoods. designed to give local entrepreneurs, people with talent but no capital, no connections, a launch pad. The first one opens in West Philadelphia. 8 vendor spots, commercial kitchens. Garrison slides a folder across the table. Inside, architectural renderings, stainless steel counters, a 6-burner range, walk-in cooler, and above the front counter, a mock-up sign, Hill's Home Kitchen. Andre's hands go still on the folder. First vendor spot, fully built out, no rent for the first 2 years. After that, a percentage of revenue, only if you're profitable. Andre looks up. You're offering me a restaurant? I'm offering you a kitchen. What you build in it is up to you. But Garrison isn't finished. A $50,000 startup grant through the Whitfield Foundation. A business mentor. Wholesale supply chain access. The same rates restaurant chains with 50 locations negotiate. And one more thing. The foundation will fund a culinary scholarship, in your name. 1 full scholarship every year for young people from your neighborhood. Garrison folds his hands. This isn't charity. I've seen your food. I've seen how people talk about you. You've been building something real for years. You just never had the door. I'm opening it. What you do once you walk through, that's on you. Andre doesn't speak for a long time. His hands are in his lap. The rendering of Hill's Home Kitchen stares up at him. His eyes are wet. I don't know what to say. Garrison's expression softens. For a moment, he doesn't look like a billionaire. He looks like a father who got his daughter back. Say yes, and go home and tell your mother. Andre steps onto the sidewalk. Sun is out. First clear day after 2 days of rain. He calls Denise. She answers on the second ring. He starts to explain. Halfway through the first sentence, his voice breaks. Denise listens, doesn't interrupt. Then softly, I told you, baby, I always told you. On the way home, he stops at a gas station, buys Elijah a candy bar, the kind with peanuts, tucks it in the glove compartment. Small gesture, big meaning. A windfall doesn't change who Andre is. It reveals who he's always been. Back at the apartment, he calls Nolan Price about Caroline's purse. She's been asking about you. She'd like to thank you herself. Jefferson Hospital, room 412. Caroline is sitting up, more color in her face. She sees Andre walk in and her eyes fill instantly. She reaches for his hand. Andre takes it. I don't remember much, but I remember your voice. You kept saying, stay with me. Andre nods. You listened. They both laugh, shaky, quiet. The kind of laughter between 2 people who survived something terrible together. Within 60 days, Andre Hill's life was unrecognizable. But what happened next wasn't about him. It was about everyone he brought with him. Andre didn't just build a kitchen, he built a door, and then he held it open for everyone behind him. The transformation starts slow, then all at once. The space in West Philadelphia, a raw shell of concrete and steel beams when Andre first sees it, begins to change. Week by week, wall by wall. Andre is there every day, before the contractors arrive, after they leave. He's not just watching, he's working, hauling boxes, taping drywall seams, scrubbing grout on his hands and knees. He handpicks the tile for the front counter, blue and white ceramic, the same pattern his mother had in her kitchen growing up. The one she always said made the room feel like home, even when nothing else did. Elijah helps paint the walls on a Saturday. He's too small to reach above his waist, so the bottom 3 feet of the back wall are done by a 6-year-old with more enthusiasm than technique. There's a handprint in blue paint near the baseboard. Andre refuses to cover it up. That stays, he tells the contractor. That's permanent. The sign goes up on a Tuesday morning. Andre stands across the street and watches 2 men bolted into place. Hill's Home Kitchen. Same name, same food, just a bigger table. Denise visits the space for the first time the following week. Andre drives her over, walks her through the front door, shows her the kitchen, the 6-burner range, the walk-in cooler, the prep stations, the hood vent that actually works. Denise stands in the middle of the kitchen. She doesn't say anything for a full minute, just turns in a slow circle, looking at everything, taking it in. Then, quietly, "Your daddy's kitchen was half this size, and he fed the whole block." Andre puts his arm around her. Neither of them says another word. They don't need to. Opening day. A line around the block. Not a polite, orderly line, a real one. Snaking down the sidewalk. People on their phones telling friends to get down here. Kids pulling on their parents' arms. The smell of jerk chicken and fresh cornbread drifting out through the propped-open door and hitting the street like a warm wave. Local news crews are set up across the street. 2 cameras. A reporter doing a live segment with the food hall in the background. Andre is behind the counter in a crisp, white chef's coat. The first one he's ever owned. His name is embroidered on the chest in small blue letters. He keeps touching it, running his thumb over the stitching like he's making sure it's real. Elijah sits on the counter beside the register, legs swinging. A piece of cornbread in one hand that's already half gone. Crumbs on his shirt. A grin so wide it takes up his whole face. Denise is in a chair near the window, oxygen tank tucked beside her. But she's smiling, really smiling. The kind of smile that takes 10 years off a person's face. The plates come out fast. Jerk chicken, collard greens, cornbread, mac and cheese, rice and beans with Andre's seasoning that nobody has ever been able to replicate, no matter how many times they ask for the recipe. Every plate is photographed before it goes out. Same as always, same care, same eye. Just a bigger kitchen. The local news segment airs that evening. The headline, "From rideshare driver to restaurant owner, the story of Andre Hill." A food critic from the Philadelphia Inquirer shows up unannounced on day 3, waits in line like everyone else, orders the jerk chicken plate with a side of collard greens. 2 days later, the review drops, calling Hill's home kitchen one of the most authentic soul food experiences the city has seen in a decade. Andre's social media goes from 211 followers to 14,000 in 3 weeks. And on opening day, standing in line, waiting like everyone else, no VIP treatment, no special entrance, Garrison and Caroline Whitfield. They order 2 plates. Garrison eats every bite. Caroline takes a photo of her plate and posts it to her own page. No caption, just the food. It gets 40,000 likes overnight. But the food hall isn't just Andre's story. It's bigger than one kitchen. Within 3 months, 4 more vendor spots are filled. All local, all entrepreneurs who never had a shot before this space existed. A Jamaican patty shop run by a husband and wife team who've been selling out of their garage for 6 years. A bakery started by a woman who learned to make pound cake from her grandmother and turned it into a weekend farmer's market business. A juice bar operated by 2 college friends who dropped out to chase a dream and finally found a home for it. The food hall becomes the anchor, the heartbeat, the place where the neighborhood gathers, not just to eat, but to be together. And then there's the scholarship. The first Andre Hill Culinary Scholarship is awarded 4 months after the kitchen opens. The recipient, a 19-year-old named Trayvon from the same neighborhood. Grew up 3 blocks from Andre's apartment. Dropped out of high school at 16. Got his GED at 18. Taught himself to cook watching videos on a cracked phone screen. Trayvon starts a paid apprenticeship in Andre's kitchen. He's nervous the first week. Quiet. Keeps his head down. Burns the rice twice. Andre doesn't yell, doesn't lecture. He just stands beside Trayvon at the stove and says, "Again, slower this time. You got it." Within 6 months, Trayvon is running the lunch shift. Andre starts a weekly free meal program. Every Sunday, Hill's Home Kitchen serves free plates to anyone in the neighborhood who needs one. No questions asked, no paperwork, no judgment. You're hungry? You eat. The line stretches around the block every single Sunday. Families, elderly couples, single moms with kids on their hips, construction workers, students, people who haven't had a home-cooked meal in weeks. Andre serves every plate himself, every Sunday, without exception. The numbers at the end of year 1, 22 jobs created within the food hall, 3 culinary scholarships awarded, $180,000 in revenue in the first 10 months, profitable ahead of schedule. 1,200 free meals served every single month through the Sunday program. Andre paid off his mother's medical bills, all of them, every last invoice. He bought a new car, nothing flashy, a reliable Honda CR-V, gets Elijah to school and Denise to her appointments without the check engine light turning every drive into a prayer. But he kept the old Civic, parked it in the driveway. Elijah's gonna learn to drive in that car one day, he tells Denise. She rolls her eyes. That car won't make it to next year. It'll make it, Andre says. It always does. But the real ending to this story? It didn't happen in the food hall. It didn't happen on camera. It didn't happen in front of 14,000 followers. It happened in Andre's kitchen. The old one. The one with the wobbly table and the crayon drawing on the fridge. 1 year later, Andre Hill did something that no one expected. Not even Garrison Whitfield. Same apartment, same kitchen, same wobbly table with the cardboard shim that Andre never replaced. He could afford a new table now. He could afford a new apartment. But some things aren't about money. Some things are about remembering where you started, so you never forget why it matters. Elijah is at the table. He's 8 now, taller. His handwriting is neater. He's doing homework, math problems, tongue poking out the side of his mouth the way he always does when he's concentrating. Denise is in her chair, but something is different. The oxygen tank isn't beside her anymore. It's in the closet. New medication, better doctors, better insurance, the kind Andre couldn't afford a year ago. She still gets tired in the evenings, still coughs when the air is dry. But she's stronger. You can see it in the way she sits up straighter, the way she laughs louder. Andre is cooking, not for the restaurant, not for customers, not for the Sunday program, for them. Rice and beans, roasted vegetables, the same meal from that night, the night before everything changed. He's seasoning it with the same care, the same patience, the same hands that once pressed against a stranger's chest on a wet sidewalk and refused to stop. The kitchen smells the same, the light is the same, the apartment is the same, but the wall behind Denise is different now. The yellowed CPR certificate is still there, it's not going anywhere. But next to it, a framed photograph. Andre and Caroline at the food hall opening, both smiling, both real. And beside that, another framed certificate. Andre's completed business management certification, earned through the Whitfield Foundation's mentorship program. His name printed in clean black letters on thick white paper. 3 frames on one wall, the past, the present, and the bridge between them. Elijah looks up from his homework. His eyes land on the photo of Andre and Caroline. Dad, who's that lady? Andre glances over his shoulder. That's Caroline. She's the woman I told you about. The one who fell down? Yeah, the one who fell down. Elijah thinks about this for a second, the way kids do, seriously, carefully, like every question is the most important question in the world. And you helped her? I did. And then her dad gave you the kitchen? Andre smiles. It's a little more complicated than that, buddy, but yeah, something like that. Elijah chews on his pencil eraser. Would you do it again? Andre turns away from the stove, looks at his son, really looks at him. Every single time. Elijah nods, satisfied, goes back to his math. Every Saturday morning, Andre teaches a free CPR class at the community center, the same community center where he got his own certification 12 years ago, the same building, the same folding chairs, the same fluorescent lights. He tells every class the same thing, stands in front of them, 15, sometimes 20 people, all ages, all backgrounds, and says, you don't need to be a doctor. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to be brave. You just need to be there. That's it. Show up. Don't walk away. Everything else, I can teach you. Last month, one of his students, a 22-year-old woman who works at the bakery in the food hall, performed CPR on a man who collapsed at a bus stop. He survived. She called Andre afterward, crying, shaking. "I didn't think I could do it." Andre told her what he wished someone had told him that night in the rain. "You already did." Night. Andre stands in the doorway of his apartment, leaning against the frame, arms crossed, watching the street. Same street he's always lived on, same cracked sidewalk, same flickering streetlight on the corner, same sounds. Distant traffic, a dog barking somewhere, the bass from a car stereo 2 blocks over. Everything is the same, but something is different. Not the street, Andre. He stands taller now, not because of money, not because of the restaurant, not because a billionaire shook his hand, but because he knows, for certain, without question, without doubt, what he's capable of when it matters most. That changes a person, quietly, permanently. Denise's voice drifts from inside the apartment. "Andre, food's getting cold." He smiles. The same tired, warm, steady smile he's had his whole life. Turns around, walks inside. The door closes behind him. On the kitchen counter, the mason jar. Still there, same spot, but the label has changed. Elijah peeled off the old one and stuck on a new strip of masking tape. In his 8-year-old handwriting, slightly crooked, slightly smudged, "Next dream."